Hi, it's Ali Maz. Today I'm going to take you through a 20-minute flow, something that's going to get you connected in your head, your heart, and really put you deep into your own body. Let's get started. So we're going to get started seated, and if this is uncomfortable for your hips, you're welcome to sit yourself up on a block or fold a blanket just so that the hips are a little bit more elevated than your knees. You're going to take your hands just comfortably in your lap and close your eyes gently and just sit up nice and tall. And all we're doing here is just trying to find a deeper inhale breath. So as you breathe in, feeling the breath just gently pressing up into the edges of your skin. And as you exhale, just softening the shoulders away from the ears. Feeling a grounded, more earthy sensation through your pelvis. And just feeling your belly gently relax. So there's no holding, there's no crunching or tension in the body. It's just a gentle fluidity through your breath. You can imagine like a fine-tooth comb just gently combing through the inside of your body. And perhaps you'd like to set an intention for your practice, so just checking in around why you've shown up on your mat today. What is it that you need, be it on a physical level, mental level, or an emotional level? And then we'll just take the hands in front of the heart, just dipping chin into chest, taking a deep breath in, filling your body up entirely, and exhaling completely. And when you're ready, just releasing your hands, lifting your head and opening your eyes, and we're going to meet on hands and knees. So you're going to position yourself so that your palms are directly underneath your shoulders, and the knees are directly underneath your hips, and you're going to tuck the toes so you get a good stretch for the backs of the feet. And on your inhale breath, you're just going to tip the belly button down and take your gaze up. As you exhale, you're tucking the tailbone deeply, feeling a good squeeze for the core, and the back is round. I'm just going a couple more times at your own pace, inhaling to look up and exhaling to round. You want to start to find this marriage between your breath and your body. So the inhale is moving the spine forward and up, and then the exhale is just pulling the spine from the back body straight up towards the sky. And you can feel free to deviate from that linear movement. You can start to push the hips and the head around, just involving the side body a little bit more. And then from here, you're going to curl the tailbone, send the hips back, back, back until you find yourself into your first child's pose. So walking the hands as far forward as you can, just dipping the forehead down towards the mat. So this is a really good way to start to ground the energy by taking the forehead and the belly earthward. If it's too intense on the knees, you're welcome to place a blanket between your hips and your heels. You can also untuck and sit back a little bit further. And then to add a little extra element, we're going to walk the hands off the mat towards the right. So you're going to ground this left sit bone. You're going to walk the left hand a little bit further and feel the left side of your body really open up. I'm just taking 2 breaths right here. So deep inhale into the left side. And full breath out. And one more full breath in. Feel the body just gently rising. And then as you exhale, feel a deeper settling. And then take it up. Come over to the other side. This time your right hand reaches a little bit further. I like to come up onto spider fingertips and then kind of adjust so my pelvis shifts towards the right. Head relaxes down towards the mat. So feeling a side stretch all the way from your right hip through to your right armpit. And then slowly coming back up through center, placing your hands back underneath the shoulders, tucking the toes for your first downward facing dog. So you're going to lift the hips straight up and back. And you're going to walk the feet slightly back behind you, and the hands just slightly forward. And you want to feel the grip of your hands on the mat like you're palming a basketball. So it's a really, really tight grip, feeling index fingers and thumbs pushing down. And then we're going to bend the knees quite a bit and stick the sit bones up nice and high. And the neck is nice and released and soft. From here, you can create a little pedal here, so pressing one heel down and just switching it out. So down dog, great to open up the backs of the legs. Get to stretch the spine, tone the arms, and just starting to get some good blood flow into the brain. From here, just find one more breath in steadiness. So deep inhale and full exhale. And then we're going to look forward. You're just going to slowly walk the feet all the way up to the top of the mat. You're going to bend both of your knees. You're going to take two fists and you're going to slide them between your feet. And that's about the distance you want your feet. Second toes are facing forward, so nice and parallel. Bend your knees as much as you need so that the lower back feels okay. And then just drop chin into chest, fingertips to the mat. If you feel like you have a little bit more opening in the backs of the legs, you can start to straighten the legs just gently. But the goal here really is to release through the spine. So the deeper you bend the knees, the more sort of decongesting you're going to feel for the lower back. And then we're going to move into a halfway lift. So the hands can come to shins or thighs. I'm going to create a nice tall line with the spine as you gaze forward. And then as you exhale, you're going to bow and forward fold. And then as we inhale, you're going to circle the arms high above the head and come to your first standing position, taking your gaze up. And as you exhale, hands are going to come to center chest. And again, you're going to inhale, circle the arms up. As we exhale, hands are going to come down through prayer. You're going to forward fold, soften the knees, engage the core. Lengthen into your flat back, gaze goes forward. And exhale, bow and forward fold. I'm going to step back into high plank. So this is top of a push-up position. A couple variations. You can take the knees down immediately if you're feeling too much tension in the lower back or the arms. You're going to take a breath in, neck is long, and exhale, bending the elbows close to your rib cage and untuck the toes. Inhale, you're going to take a cobra pose, so just gently lifting your chest up and off of the mat. So this is your low cobra. If you want to go a little deeper, you can push down into the hands. Legs are strong. Gaze goes up. And then as we exhale, you're coming all the way back down. You're going to tuck the toes, come to your hands into your knees, and press straight back up, downward facing dog. And it's just one simple breath in, and a full breath all the way out. Gazing to your hands, step or hop lightly to the top of your mat. Come back into your halfway lift, and exhale, breathe it out. Inhale, sweep your arms high above your head. And as you exhale, offer your hands to the center of your chest. We're going to take this flow 2 more times using 1 breath per movement. So inhale, arms come up. Exhale, you fold down. Inhale, you lengthen. And exhale, navel to spine, chin to chest, fold. Inhale, step back to your high plank. Maybe this time the knees stay up and off of the mat. And as we exhale, shift forward, bend the elbows and lower to the mat. Untuck your toes, cobra, high or low. And exhale, tucking the toes through hands and knees, push to downward facing dog. It's 1 breath to ground. Exhale to release. Gaze forward, step or hop, top of your mat. Flat back. And fold. Last round, arms come up. This time we're going to flow all the way through. Exhale. Flat back. Exhale, bow. High plank pose, inhale. This time you can lower halfway chaturanga so the body hovers off the mat. Untucking the toes, upward facing dog or cobra. Downward facing dog, exhale. Now we're going to hang out in downward facing dog, and we're going to start to get into the hips a little bit more. So step your feet together so the big toes touch. On your inhale, the right leg is going to sweep up. So keeping the hips nice and square, hands are settled into the mat. Step forward all the way up to your right thumb. If your foot doesn't make it, use your hand to bring it through. You want to see that the right knee aligns over your right ankle, and drop your back knee. Hands can come to your front thigh. Gaze can be forward. If you're feeling okay here, just stay here. You can also roll your mat to create a little extra padding so that your back knee feels safe and protected. If this feels good, arms reach up, low lunge. Gaze can come up between the hands. Lengthening the tailbone and lifting the chest up. And then as we exhale, fingertips are going to come down to the mat, and we're going to send the hips back. Untuck the back toes and flex the right foot. So this is creating a big opening through the back of your right leg. If it's too intense, bend the knee. Flex your toes quite a bit here and see if you can really square off the hips. So if you think of the energy in the lower part of your body as being sent backward, and from your hips through the crown of your head is being sent forward. And take a deep breath right here. As you exhale, if you want to release a bit more, your chin can come into your chest and you can release your upper body over this leg. And then we'll look forward. Come back into your lunge, tuck your back toes under, and lift your back leg up nice and strong. So this is getting you through this front left hip flexor, and let's look forward just for a breath in. And then as we exhale, plant the palms, step back to downward facing dog. We'll step feet together, and we'll go to the left side. Left leg lifts up. Try to keep the hips nice and square. On your exhalation, step left foot through to the left thumb. Drop the back knee, pat it if you need to. Hands can come to front thigh or up towards the ceiling. So this would be a really good flow to do post-run or post lots of sitting. The hip flexors tend to get quite crunchy, so this is a really nice way to really lean out and open up through the front of this right hip flexor and thigh. If you're looking to find a little bit more balance, arms reach up. Gaze gets super still, breath stays moving. Inhale. On your exhale, we release, fingertips down, and then send the hips back for our hamstring stretch. So toes nice and active. If you have a little bit more flexibility, feel free to walk this left heel a little bit further forward. And I want you to imagine that you're drawing your left hip back and your right hip forward just to create a little bit more length in the back of this left leg. You can stay here and breathe, or you can tip chin into chest, palms come flat. Find a little bit more relaxation through your upper body. And a big breath in to where you're feeling the most resistance in your body, and as you exhale, try to soften around wherever you're feeling that hold or that grip. And then looking forward, coming back into your lunge, tuck the back toes, lift up your back knee, sit the hips nice and low, gaze goes forward, take a breath in. And as we exhale, we send it back, downward facing dog pose. We'll move through one vinyasa, so that's that flow of movement, high plank pose, inhale. Exhale, shift forward and lower. Inhale, your back bend of choice, cobra, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog, push hips up and back. Gazing forward to your hands, you're gonna step or hop to the front of your mat. Lengthen into flat back as you arrive. And exhale, we fold. Inhale, we're going to stand all the way up. And as we exhale, hands are going to come straight into heart center. And then releasing your hands, we're going to take a balance, and I'm going to just face you so you can see. You're going to shift the weight into your left foot. The sole of the right foot is going to come above or below the knee. It's important that this foot is not glued right to the knee. So anywhere above or below, I'm going to take the foot up into the crease of the groin. Hands are going to come to the center of the chest. So you're focusing on left big toe mound, kind of like a thumbtack being pushed into a cork board. That's your center. It's kind of drawing you down into the mat. Toes are relaxed. Hands come to heart. Gaze gets super steady. If you want to play around with this, arms can come up. And you can kind of play with your gaze. You can look down, forward, or up towards the ceiling to challenge the balance. Make sure you're not holding the breath. You don't want to jeopardize the breath for the sake of the posture. Hands can come back into the center of the chest. And then you release. Right foot comes down, shake out the standing leg, and find your way to the other side. Right foot, sole of the left foot. So if balance is an issue for you, the big toe can stay on the mat. You can just kind of connect the sole of the foot with the ankle, and this will give you a little bit more stability. You can also hold on to a wall. Know that every day your balance is different. And it's really just our ability to come back into the shape with compassion. So if you're feeling a bit competitive or hard on yourself, as you sway your body, as your body sweats, as your body moves and struggles, just coming back into center, finding your breath, not taking it too seriously. Arms can come up if you wish. Gaze can go down, forward, or up. Take one more breath in. As we exhale, collecting hands at heart center, and then releasing both feet and then shaking them out. I'm going to stay facing you, but your feet are going to come as wide as your mat, so that's a good marker for you. Heels are going to come in and toes are going to come out slightly. I'm going to bend all the way down into Malasana squat pose. So if your hips are really tight here, sitting up on a block is going to elevate you and create less pressure on the hip joints. Otherwise, we're getting nice and low. Palms are going to come together, and elbows are going to just gently press the knees back. So when I'm here, especially if I'm looking to ground, I really want to take everything sort of more internal. So I'm going to take my thumbs to third eye center, so just between the brows. I'm going to actually drop my head into my hands, creating just a gentle rounding through the upper back. And I like to find just a little bit of sway here just to keep the hips nice and warm. You carry your head around all day, so this is just a nice way just to release, opening up the back of the neck. Let's take one more breath in. And as we exhale, you're going to drop the hands. You're going to lower your sit bones to the floor, and you're going to extend both legs out in front of you. So this is Paschimottanasana. You're going to flex the feet again, sitting up on a block if you need a little bit of help. You'll know you need that help if the lower back is rounded when the legs are straight. So sitting up on a block is just going to create a little bit more space through the low back. You're going to just take the hands beside the knees, and you're going to walk any amount forward. So wherever you stop is perfect. You're going to drop the chin in towards the chest and just rest here. And I like to close the eyes just to get a little bit more connected to my own breathing. If you can, really identifying the places in your body where you're feeling the most resistance or tightness, and that's really where you want to send the breath. So just gentle inhales and fuller exhales, settling the upper body so the lower body can lengthen out. Taking one more breath in. And full exhale, breath out. On your inhale, we're slowly going to roll ourselves all the way up. You're going to scoot your hips forward, and you're going to come to lie all the way down onto your back. On your back, it's just the right knee into your chest, the left leg long. You're going to take the right arm open, and with the left hand, you're going to pull the right knee across your chest into a twist. Now, if your lower back is feeling sensitive or vulnerable here, I suggest bending both of your knees, and that's going to loosen the intensity through your lower back. The gaze can go up towards the ceiling or just gently over towards the right hand. And then we'll change sides. Engage the core first above all else. Look forward, taking the knees up. Dropping the right leg down. So right leg's coming down, left knee is drawing into your chest. And it's the same thing, twist goes the other side, left hand is gonna open up, this knee is gonna take you all the way across. You can bend both knees if that feels too intense. And this is your last posture of this practice, so just really letting your body fall a little bit heavier, relaxing through your breath. And coming back through center, hugging both of your knees into your chest. If you have time, I suggest lying yourself out into Shavasana so the heels are heavy, nice and wide, palms facing up. If you do not have a moment to lie down, that's fine. We'll come up to seated. Wherever you are, closing your eyes. Checking back in with your body, with your heart, with your head. Even though it's a short practice, the yoga has this way of sort of sewing those places back together. So you're feeling much more of a centered, calming outlook towards those three places. A little bit more aligned, a little bit more at ease. And as I said, if you have the time, stay lying down. You're seated, taking the hands into the heart, dropping chin into the chest. And together, taking in your last breath and last exhale of the practice. Have a beautiful rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening. Thank you so much for joining me in this practice. Namaste.